Hey there, today we're going to learn how to do frequency separation. This is an incredible technique to give your images absolutely flawless skin when you need it. So let's just jump right in. This is a beautiful model who came to my studio who did not have the greatest skin. So in order to really make this image shine, we're going to do some frequency separation to bring out the best. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to duplicate our original layer. And this new layer, we are going to name texture. And we're going to duplicate that layer again. And this time we're going to call it tone. Basically, the way frequency separation works is we have a layer for the texture of the skin and a separate layer for the tone of the skin. And we're going to work on each layer separately to get the effect we want. And then in the end, they come together and we have beautiful, flawless skin. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is turn off the texture layer. And we're going to activate the tone layer by clicking on it. And then we're going to go to Filter, Blur, Gossamer Blur. Now what you want to do is blur this image just enough so that the skin becomes smooth. And, here's our original. This usually happens around 8 points. Let's put this one on 8 points. So blurred, the skin looks pretty nice. We're going to say OK. So with our texture layer highlighted, we're going to go to Image, Apply Image, and when the dialog box pops up, we're going to choose that tone layer, and under Blending, we're going to say Subtract. And what you'll get is this gray screen with an outline of the image basically beneath it. That's when you know you've done it right. We're going to say OK. Once we've done that, is up here, we're going to go and make this layer highlight linear light. Ooh, it's scary, scary, scary. But now we're going to turn back on the blur layer. And basically, this is what our original image looked like, right? But what we've done is we've separated out the tone with a nice soft blur, and the texture, we've done a separation. We're almost ready to start editing the skin. So what we're going to do is select the tone layer. We're going to go over to the lasso tool, and we're going to circle an area that we would like to work on. Now, the tone layer is working on the tone of the skin that may be uneven. And you can see from looking at the face here, we've got some highlights here between the brows. We've got a big hot spot on the chin. We've got this area here on the cheek. And this is because her skin was oily, so the lights were bouncing off and reflecting on that oil. So for right now, let's say we're going to work on this area of the cheek. We want to make the tone similar to some other areas of the skin, so it's not so highlighted. What we're going to do, we're going to say select and refine the edge. Now what this does is it pops up a window that we can now use once we set it for the rest of our work here on the skin. But what we want to tell it is how much of a feather we want to work with. You can see as we push the feather over, it becomes absolutely obsolete. I usually do this around 12. Okay, so once you've set that, notice how it says new layer. We don't want to say OK. We don't want to create a new layer. We're actually just going to cancel out of this. But what we've done is that we have set where we want the amount of feather to happen when we use this selection. And again, I usually do mine about 12. But again, I am not going to say OK. I'm just going to hit cancel. But I'm going to remember this number. So then up here, where my feather is, I can tell it. Oh, that was the amount of feather I wanted, 12.5. And now that is set. So now we can really start working. So with this lasso around the cheek, we're going to go back up to the filter menu. We're going to go filter, blur, gossamer blur. Now we've already set how much of a feather it's going to do. That was our previous step. Now what we're going to do is we're going to slide this around to see when our skin starts to match. Now again, we're not looking at the texture, we're looking at the tone. If we go too far, it starts to get much too dark, right? You really want to keep this no more than, say, 20. Now look at that. As we slid, look at how the highlights started to go down. So again, here's the original. And as we go up, the highlight in this area is starting to dull. And again, I like to keep mine at about 20. We can see it starting to match the tone of some of the skin around it. And when I find it where I like it, I'm going to say, okay. Now, let's do it again. Let's do this brow area that's so bright. I'm going to hit it with the lasso tool. I'm going to say filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Now, this is the number I had it on before. Well, if we stretch it a little more, oh, it's a little darker. Gets a little darker. I do like having a little bit of a highlight on the skin, but not too much. I'm actually going to push this to 30. I'm going to say, okay. Now, let's circle this hot spot here on the chin. We're going to go filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Now, it automatically goes to my last setting, which was 30. Do I like that? Do I want to lower it a little bit? The more I lower it, it gets brighter. So let's go back up to where we were. I kind of like it at 28. There we go. Okay. And do you see other hot spots? The nose is a little hot, but you know, don't mind that so much. This area in here is kind of bright. It's going to circle right around there. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur. But that's a little too dark for that area. So I'm going to bring this down. There's still just a little highlight. Looking good. My cheek is still feeling a little bright. Let's go back in there. We can do it again. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Let's raise that up just a little bit. Okay, well, you get the idea. And what you can do is go around and match all those skin tones until you get it exactly where you like it. But I will tell you that one of the nice things is you know, once you've done your texture and you're like, oh, this area is still a little bright, you can go back into the tone and just keep going back and forth, making it work the way you like. All right, well, now let's show you how to actually get rid of these blemishes on the skin. So now what we're going to do is we're going to click onto our texture layer. The texture is the texture of the skin, those blemishes. So we're going to have that highlighted. We're going to go to our clone stamp. And up here at the top menu bar, where we can set our clone settings, I'm going to lower this brush size. We're going to have our opacity between 35 and 40. And we're going to have our flow at 100. But here is the really important part. You do not want to be picking up the clone stamp from the current and below selections. You only want the current layer. So you must change that to current layer. Again, these are our settings with the clone stamp. We're going to do our opacity at around 38. You can play with this to get it where you're comfortable. Our flow is at 100, and very important, we are only cloning on the current layer. Very important to know. Now, what we're going to do with our clone stamp Let's look at this really bright blemish right here. I'm going to make my brush smaller. And what we're going to do is we're going to copy a smooth area of skin near where what we want to cover. And then we're going to brush over the bumpy area. Click, click, click. It's gone. Let's try another one. See this big blemish right here? I'm going to hit the Option key to tell my clone brush where I want it to copy. And then I'm going to click, click, click over area I want to fix. You get the idea. Click, smooth. Click, smooth. Even on the lipstick. Click, click, click and smooth. Click and smooth. And we're never going to just drag our brush. We're going to always click. Select and smooth. Select and smooth. And you are going to do this all over the skin. Now, this is a very dramatic case where the blemishes were really pretty intense on this gal. But you can see this is a miracle. And with a little time and patience, she will end up with beautiful, beautiful, smooth skin. Oh, yes, right here. Now, I can tell you that in this mode, on the texture layer, you can also use spot healing. But I prefer to use this method. I can really control what I'm working on. You know, let's just look at this jaw area here. I'm selecting the area that's clean, and then I'm clicking over the area to be fixed. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, you get the idea. I don't have to do a 30-minute video. Just click on a clean spot and then click where you want it to cover. And you are going to be styling. It's going to take a little time, especially for a face that has this many blemishes. But honestly, you're going to be so thrilled with the results. And if you go back, like here over on the cheek, let's say we clean this up just a little more. Let's say you decide, you know, the tone is still too bright. You can go back into the tone layer, get your lasso brush, select the area again, and you can do the tone again. If you really do want that darker, you can hit it again. It works. You can just keep going back and forth and back and forth. When you're all done, look at, we already got such beautiful smoothness right there. When you're all done, you flatten your layer and you are ready to start color toning. So I hope this was helpful for those of you who have found frequency separation to be confusing. It's really quite easy. In recap, you just need to set it up by having a tone layer and a texture layer, as we went over before. You set how much of a feather you want. Once you start clicking away on that tone layer, and then you just go back and forth, finding what you want. Remember, here was our original. There's our new one. Isn't that beautiful? All right, have fun. If you get confused, drop me a question. Ciao for now.